to our Tuesday morning beginner workout. Today we're going to be doing core and cardio. We're going to do it a little differently this week, where we're going to only have two groups of 4 exercises. We're going to try increasing the time a little bit to 45 seconds on and 15 seconds off. Chairs needed for one exercise, maybe a couple if you want to modify them. But it's also not necessary for that one exercise. I have a modification for that. But without further ado, we'll get started just with the arm swings, as we do use our shoulders a lot within a lot of core moves, just as our stabilizers. Make sure those are nice and ready to go. Let's go into our swimmers, continuing with the shoulders. I'm just hinging at the hips, swimming forward, and back. And we're just going to warm up the hamstrings a little bit. Within our cardio, we will be using those hamstrings, and we're also stretching a lot of those back muscles here. We're going to go pull back on those left fingers. Arms overhead, hips to the left, lean to the right, and the other way. And pulling back on those right fingers. So, and then we'll do some standing twist. We're just going to lunge forward, twist that same side. When I say lunge, I mean more of an exaggerated step, not so much a lunge. And then we'll do some jumping jacks. So we can be doing our full jumping jacks. Yeah, we want to warm up the cardio a little bit, or we could be doing our modified jumping jacks as well. If you have a mat, that would also be nice for you, because we're going to be on the ground a little bit. All right, and then we'll just go into some light jogging on the spot. Kick it off to the side. Maybe we turn it into a little skip. Just to get warmed up a little bit more in that cardio sense. Continuing to warm up, you can join me while I demonstrate these, or you can just watch, take a bit of a break. I'm going to move this chair back a little bit. The first exercise there, low plank tap outs. So we are in the low plank position. Means our elbows are under our shoulders, nice straight line from shoulder to ankle, and then for the tap out part, we're just kicking our feet out to the side. If you want to modify, you can go on an incline. Obviously, you can't do the low plank part of it, but we can do a modified high plank, and we can tap out that way. Step ups, we are going to use the chair. We're just stepping up and moving opposite arm, opposite leg. Just like so. If you need to modify, we're just going to go more into a high knee, but just make sure that we're stepping with that purpose. Dead bug. We are on the ground, legs bent at 90-90, arms straight overhead. We're extending opposite arm, opposite leg out. Extend out, just like so. And the hardest, I would say the hardest exercise of the whole workout today is our walkout. So standing tall, We walk down, we walk out, and then we stand back up. If you want a modification for those, we're just going to do those hips, knees, ankles, ceiling. All right? I'm going to get some water before we start. Turn down that AC. It is quite hot and humid. Okay. 45 seconds on, 15 seconds off. So each round is 4 minutes. We'll get going in 3, 2, and 1. Hopefully that starts. Try to keep that nice straight line the whole time. If you need to modify and you don't want to get up into that incline, you can go into this modified, we'll go modified low plank. And I would just suggest holding it because you can't really do a tap out from this position. And at any point in time when you're ready again, you can go back into those foot tap out. So again, any point you tire out, just drop into that modified low plank, up into it. Done in 3, 2, and 1. All right, 15 seconds. A little longer rest, not too much longer for the amount of work you do. We're going into our step-ups next. Remember, moving opposite arm, opposite leg. This is also your cardio component, so ideally this is a little bit lower than a chair. I know it's a chair or bench. But if you have something a little bit lower, you can move a little bit faster and make it more of a cardio workout. But if you're using a chair, take it slow, be safe, make sure it's sturdy so that we're not hurting ourselves doing our workout. That's not the point. The point is just to get a little extra movement in our day, feel a little bit better. We can do one more step here. And time. All right, on the ground for our dead bugs. So if we need to reduce the range of motion on the dead bug, we certainly can. We're starting. But ideally, or what you're trying to work towards, is getting to the point where your arm and your leg are just hovering above the ground. We don't want to touch. We want to hover just above. And if you need to reduce your range of motion, you certainly can. And I can just go from here, and I'm still working my core. I just get more of a range of motion here, and that's more of the muscle work. But everyone has to start somewhere, so if you're not quite here yet, that's okay. 2, and 1. Awesome. And just like with our low planks, you can modify at any time you need to on our walkouts. We walk down. We walk out. Again, these can be as fast or as slow as you need to. I'm taking them a little bit slow. That's okay. That will be consistent. Because I'm running short on time. Like I said, anytime you can go for that modification. All right, we have 15 seconds break, and we're going to go back into a low plank, tap out. Show the modification again to start. So again, I could be on an incline, still a nice straight line. Going. Make it a little harder. Maybe I'll go from the seat. Yeah, I'm not in the low plank in this position, more a high plank, but the tap out's still working. And this is actually, you know, I am challenging my core here. Just by having to hold myself up. And time. Okay. Our step ups next. Really start feeling that summer heat and humidity. It's not even technically summer yet. Makes it even more sad, but here we go. I notice I hold my arm up here, and that's just so that I remember that I should set with that lag so that I'm working both sides equally. Another option is you could do, you know, lead with one side, then halfway through on the timer, you could lead with the other side. Okay, and then we have our step up for our dead bugs. It's not really conducive for using our arm momentum to help us step up. As we're not using any arm momentum, so we're into our dead bugs. But it is good for the memory side. And if you find even the reduced range of motion too difficult, you can just put your arms at your side, and you can do an alternating march almost. Or, you know, you can work your way up into moving both legs at the same time and doing more of a reverse crunch with reduced range of motion. And then when you're ready, you can turn that into your dead bug, right? Getting a little bit more arms on there. All right, we're done that one. And the walkouts. Yeah, our modification is hips, knees, ankles, ceiling, hips, knees, ankles, ceiling. We're still getting a little bit of vertical displacement there, but it is a big jump going from that modification to a full walkout. So if you're not quite there at that walkout, I would just suggest keep working with the modification. And then as time goes on, maybe you throw in one walkout in the full 45 seconds, whether it's at the beginning, whether it's in the middle, maybe it's just at the end. But just try to throw one in there and then build yourself up to where you're doing more. All right, last round here. We have our low plank tap outs. We're going at an angle here. We're starting. Just so you can see that tap out a little bit better. I'm not going to hit the couch, so I'm just going to adjust one more time here. At a straight line. And again, at any point, you can just drop into this modified low plank. And if you've been holding your plank right, you know, you're still working those same muscle groups, and you can pop up. You can do one, maybe take a rest, pop up, maybe you take a little bit of a rest. But then we have our final 5 seconds, so we're gonna push till the end, and time on that exercise. All right, is there a step up? Again, the modification for this is we're just going high knees with a purpose. So I'll do a few of those, then I'll go to the step ups. We're moving. So again, I'm just moving with purpose here with those high knees. I'm getting them as high as I can, and I'm moving at a relatively decent pace. Or we're doing our full, right? Almost there. Keep moving, keep moving, keep moving. 5 seconds. And time. All right. Onto the ground for our dead bugs. We're going in 3, 2, and 1. So with this extra added bit of time, going from the 30 to 45 seconds, we are challenging the muscles in different ways. We are going to get a little less variety in our exercises because we're only doing 8 exercises instead of 12. But we're going to get a little bit more endurance out of this and challenge the muscles a little bit more than what we're used to. You could probably feel, you know, on that low plank, maybe that extra 15 seconds might have been a little bit more agony. I don't find the dead bug too challenging done there, but certainly, you know, the extra 15 seconds walkout and our low plank tap out, they're certainly very challenging. Okay, and we're going into our walkouts now. Final exercise of group 1. Take your time as you need. And when I get into this position, right, I'm always trying to be strong throughout the whole thing. So as I walk down and walk out, I try to keep my hips stable so they're not rocking all about. I finish in the high plank position, a nice strong high plank position. And when I come back, I'm standing nice and tall. So let's give them one more in for that 45 seconds. Reaches. Awesome. Okay, so that is group 1. We'll stop the timer, we'll fix the round, we'll show you exercise group 2. So for a side plank, we're going to switch halfway through. We can certainly modify. And just like before, if you don't want to sort of wait around while I'm explaining these, you can, you know, attempt to do these exercises, see how they feel. Our side plank, we're going to do both sides. We want to make sure our elbow is under our shoulder. We're nice and open, so I'm not closing myself off or, you know, opening too much, just that nice straight line. And if we're modifying, we're going from the knees. And if we're doing the full side plank, our knees are off the ground, right? So we can do both. We can jump back and forth between the 45 seconds, whatever you need to do. Halfway through on the timer, so at the 20-second mark, we'll switch sides just to give you some transition time. All right, our jab cross with cross step is essentially what we're going to be doing. We're going to jab, cross, step, step back. So every time we do our jab cross, we're moving through this imaginary box. We're taking a box step. Bird dog crunch. Quadruped position. Out. Knee to elbow. Out again. Switch sides. So extend opposite arm, opposite leg. Touch. Knee to elbow. Extend again. If you don't think you're quite at the crunch yet, just go ahead and do your bird dog, all right? And then our modified burpees, we did the easiest modification in the walkout. What we're going to try to do is we're going to reach up to the ceiling on our tippy toes. We're going to come down foot out, foot out, foot in, stand up. I cheated a little bit there, don't cheat. Or you can do the full burpee. I'll probably be doing the modified today. Full burpee is just with the jump instead. And then jump out, jump back in. You can do that if you want, but you know, with it being a beginner class, we're going to go for the modified version. Take out the impact. All right, we're going to get started. Group 2, 3, 2, and 1. I'm just going to start with these modified ones. So again, I'm from my knees. I'm opening up so that I'm not closed down or I'm supporting myself there. Okay, you can do a little teapot with the elbow, keeping your hips off the ground. We can switch sides. Nice and strong. Almost there. And time. All right, then we're up on our feet for our jab cross with cross step. Halfway through, we'll be switching direction as well as what is our lead arm. So I jab, I cross, I step. Again, jab, cross, step, jab, cross, step. This is more a coordination exercise along with our cardio. See if you can, you know, these aren't perfect punches by any means. We're going to switch direction, so now and this is where things might get a little hairy, but you just slow it down. Because you're probably moving with your non-dominant side now. And you might be flying through this, right? Like you might be jab, cross, jab, cross, jab, cross. I'm not quite there, but we're done with that exercise for now. Moving into our bird dog crunch. Looks like we're going to go a little overtime today. So I'm going to start with saying this now. If you have to stop at 8, I do not blame you. I would stop after round 2 or even round 1, and you could get some stretches in before 8 o'clock happens. Again, the modification for this is we're just taking out the crunch. We still don't want to wobble on this one, right? We want to be nice and strong. I'm not tilting or rotating. Just my extremities are extending out, touching knee to elbow. All right, and we're going into our modified burpee. So again, I'm up, I come down, out, in this high plank position. And then I step in, and I stand up, right? Maybe we're doing that as fast or as slow as you would like, but, you know, a lot of people think cardio needs to come from these crazy movements, or you need to be running, you need to be skipping, you need to be biking. But in reality, you know, vertical displacement, changing from standing to, you know, that high plank position, is extremely demanding on the cardiovascular system. All right, and that is round 1 done. I'm going to continue showing some other modifications for a side plank because I know some people have some difficulty there. So you could be finding a wall as well, right? That's not a great wall to demonstrate on. Use the couch here for round 2. But again, I'm using my core, my oblique musculature, to hold myself up in this side plank position. And this might not be the most demanding for me, But you have to meet yourself with where you're at. And I can still feel this in my core, right? Like if I was to do this for maybe a minute and a half, I would be very tired of this exercise, right? Or I'd be very tired from this exercise, I should say. And I'm just keeping that nice straight line. If you were looking for the audio cue, we switched, but now we're done, so apologize for that. We're going to go into our jab cross step. If the cross step's throwing you off too much and you just want to go for the jab cross, you can go ahead. We're starting again with jab cross, step, jab cross. And you can be a little bit more bouncy with this as well, right? Throw a little bit more of the lower body in these punches. You can tell my punches have been all shoulders. But we can get that a little bit in. Oh, and we're switching sides. And this is, again, where it becomes difficult for a lot of people, myself included. Throw those hips into your punches. And time. Okay, bird duck crunch. Okay, quadruped position. If you need to modify, you're just taking out the crunch component. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Extend opposite arm, opposite leg. Touch knee to elbow. Extend again. Return to that quadruped position. Get nice and slow. So you don't rotate at the torso, you don't lose that stabilization. Over halfway there. So these are the opposite of your dead bugs. Essentially, this is a dead bug without being on your back, right? So if you're looking to add one into your routine, just find out which one you like the best. Oh, and we're done there. All right. Ready for those modified burpees? Again, if you find modified burpee difficult, you can always just go with the ceiling, hips, knees, ankles, ceiling. But again, you know, maybe you do those for 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 20 seconds, whatever it may be, and then maybe you throw in one of these modified burpees, right? Then maybe I do one of these. Give myself a break. Then I go into that modified burpee again. Whatever works for you, right? I can put that in, and then modified burpee, right? Then I'm still doing the exercise. I'm actually keeping a consistent pace, but I'm just not doing, you know, consistent modified burpees, and that's A-okay. All right, and our final round of side planks. Do our full side plank here. This time I'm going from the ankles or the feet. Hips and knees are off the ground. Making that teapot to make sure I'm open and not supporting myself. This is cheating, but if you need to cheat to do it properly, this isn't the worst cheat, okay? Normally I don't like people cheating, but for something like this, if it gets you, we're switching, if it gets you from modified to the full side plank, I'm okay with that little hold the wrist as a little bit of extra assistance. It is a little bit of a cheat, but it's okay. And again, at any time, you can modify, right? And then just pop back into it. That's sort of the glory of these modifications is I can cheat. I can go into this full one, hold it for a little bit. I can drop the modified. You don't need to do it. I'm not even going to say you don't even need to do it perfect, because perfect's what you're able to do the whole time. You don't need to do a full 45 seconds of full side plank to get the benefits, right? You're challenging your muscles all the same if you have to switch to a modified. I would dare to say it's better because you're more likely to follow through the full 45 seconds working. And we're switching sides. They're getting that little bit more bounce now that I'm not talking about side planks. Jab cross, jab cross. All right. 2 more exercises and we're all done. It is 8:01 now, so I understand if you have to go. Don't know where I lost all my time today. Some mornings I'm just a little bit slow. You know, a little. Again, that modification is just taking out that knee to elbow touch. It's still a challenging maneuver. Or I could be going. If you're advanced, I'm not this advanced. You could be doing same side arm, same side leg. What you can see, I kind of tip there. Probably stay better on this side if I go. And I can't even do the crunch afterwards. So same side arm, same side leg is for all the pros out there, which isn't me. Okay, our last set of our modified burpees. And then we're done. We're going to go through a cool down. Up, down, out. Stand up. Again, this could be, you could be doing sort of the opposite where, you know, you do a modified one, then you do a full burpee, then you stand up, you do a modified one, full burpee, or maybe what you do is you do the first level modification, up, you do a modified burpee, and then you do a full burpee. Right, lots of different ways to play with it, but we're all done, so we'll have to wait till next time. The exercise. Let's use this chair for our cool down today since it's here. I'm going to take a seat on the edge, cross my left leg over my right, slightly lean forward. I want to thank you all for joining me today. Hope you had a good workout. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you had a little bit of fun. Hope you maybe learned something. We'll switch sides. As always, any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to shoot me a message, whether it's by email or on Facebook, or even leaving a comment on the video. And I'll do my best to correct those concerns in future videos. All right, then we're going to go into our chair child's pose. So just grabbing the seat of it with my flat palms, pushing my hips back, bowing forward. I almost try sliding the chair towards me. You can probably see it get lifted a little bit. That was exaggerated. But I just do that so I'm stretching out my lats as well. All right, we can stand up. We'll go into our handcuff stretch. Bring those shoulders back and down. Maybe just take a little bit of a walk while we're doing this one. You know, there was quite a bit of cardio in the core and cardio workout, believe it or not. We'll switch sides with the handcuff stretch. So we want to make sure that our heart rate's coming down as well. So if you need to take a little bit of an extra walk around before you sit down in your shower, you know, ease back into it. Yeah, for this handcuff stretch, my shoulders just back and down, grabbing that wrist behind. You know, take that extra little bit of break. But I am well over time today, and again, don't know how that happens, but sometimes it does. So I will be back on the schedule on Thursday for our HIIT workout. I hope to see you then, and I hope you have a wonderful day.